I copped the uncoachable from Lethal one day. Called me uncoachable in front of the boys. Jeez, I was flat. Yeah. Hi, we're here for another episode of Conversation in Cars. Today, we're in Sydney to find the GWS captain, Toby Greene. Righto, Conversation in Cars with Toby Greene. Great to see you, mate. This stage of your career, you're 30 years old, you've done everything in the game. How do you approach it now, this time of the year? Is it excitement? Is it nerves? What's your overwhelming feeling leading into this part of the year?
Certainly not nerves, just excitement, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess a bit
that's
of
what
nerves.
you play for, isn't it?
Yeah, nerves come maybe game day of those big finals, and but at the same time you're just bloody excited to get out there and hopefully play in front of 95,000 on the last day in September. That's the dream.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hopefully you'll be driving to a home final at some stage. What do you sort of do? What's your routine driving to the footy, mate?
Well, it depends if I got Georgia and Isla in the car. It'll be my music will get changed. Yeah, we'll go to something.
So what are you listening to, mate? Taylor Swift at the moment, or you jumped on the Swiftie bandwagon?
No, I'm not. I'm not on it. I was on it while she was in Australia for a few days.
Yeah.
Like I think the rest of Australia, but no, Georgia's not a big fan of her, so that doesn't get put
Cancels
on.
that out.
But I'm a bit of everything, mate. I like a bit of country, a bit of UK rap, a bit of deep house.
UK rap.
I go anything.
Mate, my kids listen to rap on the way to school, and geez, some of the language in some of those songs. Geez, I often get reminded by my kids, don't tell mum we're listening to this.
Yeah. No, it's certainly big at the club. Yeah, it gets a good run. A lot of the younger boys are right into it, so I sort of just piggyback off them.
If you're in Melbourne, you wouldn't be listening to Talkback Radio, would you, on the way to the footy?
I actually like Talkback Radio in Sydney because it's not AFL, so it's interesting. Mostly rugby league.
Ray Hadley, man.
Yeah, I am at times. He's 2GB.
Yeah.
He's a big wave here.
How good's this? Not a bad backyard.
Yeah, it's serious swell today.
How would you go doing your recovery out in that? About 10-foot waves.
I was in the pool this morning at Coogee, but I wouldn't be trying to ride one of them.
How's Kingers going? Adam Kingsley, your coach. Give you any sprays yet, has he? Give you any touch-ups?
Yeah. I got one a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah, poor defence.
I copped the uncoachable from Lethal one day. Called me uncoachable in front of the boys. Jeez, I was flat. Yeah. And then he called a few boys. He had the column, 2 columns. He had a column of lions and a column of wildebeest. Thank God I was in the lions column, but a few of the boys were in the wildebeest column. They were a bit flat. He had a bit of damage control to do.
I don't think he goes that hard, but he certainly tells you where you're at.
Who wouldn't get a spray out of any of the boys though? Who would he look after? The coach's pet.
He's actually pretty even.
It's pretty even.
He loves Finn Callahan, but he also gives it to Finn Callahan. So.
Okay. So it balances up.
Yeah, balances
Mind
up.
you, who wouldn't love Finn Callahan the way he's going?
Yeah, he's going good. Him and Tom Green, they're two. He does pick on them a bit, but he also loves them. Sam Taylor's probably the one.
Yeah, nice.
He can go for marks when he shouldn't. It's all right.
Bring back great memories, mate. No doubts. In the car, your dear mum, Kate. She would have driven you to the footy plenty of times growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. Grassroots footy is some of the best memories I've got. Playing down at Ashley Redbacks. Pretty. That cricket pitch used to cop it, so you'd come home pretty muddy. But always good fun and lots of Ks as well, driving just about all around Victoria at stages. So very thankful for mum and having 3 boys as well, playing 3 games every weekend, or 6, Saturday, Sunday. So she did a lot of power of work that probably didn't get enough thank yous at the time.
Yeah, you never think of that at the time, do you? I just get, every now and again I get a bit of a cook from mum for, like something you can relate to. If you might have given a clip to one of your opponents or something like that. After a while I drummed up the courage, said, Mum, I'm not talking about it, so. But they do a good job. I think your mum even said, didn't she, said she drove you drove you around and did all the washing of the footy boots and washing your footy clothes as well. I can relate to that.
There was plenty on. Non-stop on the weekends from about 8 to 15 years old, so she's done a fine job.
You always wanted to play footy? You always wanted to play footy at the top level?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Growing up in Melbourne, it's just sort of what you brought up, and footy's almost a religion down there, and it was for me as well as a kid. Like, just used to wear the long sleeves to school, be like James Hird. I was obsessed.
You're a Hirdy man.
Yeah, I was a big Hirdy man.
Yeah.
I think I cried when you beat us in 2001.
Mate, Essendon have been cooked ever since. They haven't recovered.
Yeah, well, I was shattered that day. But I was a footy obsessed young kid, and that's why I love sort of getting back and seeing kids these days, have the number 4 for the Giants on that. That brings me back to when I was their age, so I certainly do appreciate it. Yeah.
Do you remember meeting Hirdy for the first time?
I do. I met him actually out the front of his house. My stepdad, his sister lived across the road. It was family Christmas, and my youngest brother Eddie went and knocked on his door and said, "Can you come play street cricket with us?" It was Christmas Day or something.
Yeah, right.
And he came out and played cricket with us, and I didn't say a word. I couldn't talk.
Well, you were busy fielding.
Yeah, I was busy fielding, but also just staring at him, and I didn't know. Honestly couldn't talk, so Mum still talks about it. It was pretty funny, but I do remember it clear as day.
And you're a Bombers man?
Yeah, I was Bombers, but if Hirdy hadn't gone anywhere, I was going with him. So.
Oh, yeah? What's it like, mate, running out in front of those big crowds? I still think the loudest game I've ever been to was the 2017 prelim final. MCG, Richmond versus GWS. Obviously, Richmond had majority of the fans. But what's it like walking out, running out, coming out into the cauldron?
I love it, and I know the boys do as well, and we were so energised last final series by those big crowds, and I guess it's something that you remember. Once you finished up with footy, that's the best times, best games to be a part of. So that 27 prelim was the loudest. That was by far the loudest game I've ever played in. Richmond hadn't been good for a while, and there was a big sense of anticipation, I guess, for the Tigers supporters. So it's probably 95,000 of them and 2,000 Giants, I reckon. So it was loud when Dusty kicked a few that day, that's for sure.
They did well to survive, the Giants supporters, didn't they, that
day? Yeah, I think my brothers might have gotten a few scraps.
Flying the flag for you, mate. Yeah. 2001, the grand final. That was my first big one, really. I didn't really play in front of a big crowd like that. And I still remember the door. You're in the old MCG rooms. I think they were the old Richmond rooms. And the door would swing open every now and again, and you'd hear the roar of the crowd. It'd swing closed, and it'd just be silence. And it was really eerie. Yeah. You sort of just didn't know what to expect when you go out there and play. And I suppose, when kids ask you what it's like, it's hard to explain, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It's also something you don't want to, you want to acknowledge it, but you don't want to be overawed by it.
Yeah.
Embrace it, get a sense for it. But then once the game's on, you don't think about it like.
It is funny like that. It just seems like a normal game.
Yeah, like even last year when we played Pies in that prelim and people were saying how loud it was, like I didn't notice the crowd at all, to be honest. Like perhaps because the game was a goal of difference.
Yeah.
You're so entrenched in trying to win it. But I, to be honest, I didn't take one notice of the crowd last year, and I think maybe that Richmond one stands out because they kicked away by 4 or 5 goals and it got that loud. But I wouldn't mind experiencing a few more times, mate. So hopefully get back there.
So talk about the mental challenges of not only playing football but just life in general. But it's a big topic in the world at the moment, and it's obviously a big topic in our footy world. We actually talk about those disappointments of big games. Oh, it's more challenging, like losing a close one last year and you had every opportunity to win it in the prelim and go through to a grand final, or losing a grand final back in 2019 against the Tigers, albeit by a pretty comfortable margin.
Nah, certainly the prelim. I think the grand final, looking back on it, we found it hard to ever win that. We were pretty banged up, and the Tigers were a better team than us. So last year certainly hurt a lot more, and I was pretty shattered certainly those few hours after the game. But at the same time, like, yeah, you're absolutely gutted and shattered. But I'd rather be losing by a point in a prelim than not making finals at the same time.
Yeah.
So
and you got to experience that, don't you?
Yeah, like it hurts 10 times more losing that prelim than not making finals. But it's part of footy and part of sport, part of life. But you're going to put yourself out there. You're going to get cut down sometimes, and we haven't managed to come out on top of them at the end of the season. But felt like we've had a good crack at it, and we want to get back there again and continue to. And that's what you play footy for: put yourself out there and have a chance to win it.
Yeah, you don't mind doing that, mate. You put your head on the chopping block, that's for sure. You ever gone back and watch the 2019 grand final?
No. You're watching me kick goals all the time.
You did hard, because I still to this day, and I should have, but now I'm retired, I don't care. But I still haven't been able to bring myself to watch the 2004 grand final.
Yeah.
And you probably thought maybe I should have when I was playing. It would have been therapeutic, and I could have just dumped it behind me. But I just can't bring myself to. I probably would have to. Back in those days, was put the VCR in the VCR player.
Yeah. Well, we watched a bit of the prelim. We reviewed it the first day back in pre-season, so we acknowledged it, went through it. We certainly,
Was it cathartic?
Not at all.
You still played the same, mate?
Yeah, it was. It hurt just as much watching it again, and the sort of mistakes we made. We felt like we were in a bloody good spot to win that game, and perhaps should have if we had been a bit more clinical. So, but it wasn't to be. And Pies went on to win it. So well done to them, and we're going to get back there now this year.
Do you find yourself? Now you're the captain of the club, you're All-Australian captain last year, so obviously you're getting great experience as a captain and a leader, but around the locker room, do you think it's important to guide your younger teammates through those challenges, when they have their ups and downs, but certainly their disappointments in footy?
Yeah, absolutely, it's important. I mean, there would have been a few boys that are probably looking at me and saying, how shattered I was, and they probably go, oh well, it's probably okay to be shattered as well, and and also preaching that those opportunities don't come that easy. Like the longer you go in footy, the more you understand how hard it is to get to the top and win it. So the boys are well aware of that, and just trying to work with them as much as they can. But they're really driven, and we've got a young group who work bloody hard and good fun to work with. So I don't have too much issues in trying to lead, I guess. Yeah. Well, mate, you set us such a great example. We might just stop and have a look at a couple of these waves, mate. I'd be a bit nervous if I was putting you out there. If I was Adam Kingsley and you said I'm going out for a surf in this, I'd be concerned we don't get you on Saturday night. No, well,
we're fishing you out.
We're going to take you an hour to get out the back, and then once you caught one wave, you might have to paddle in because I don't know how you're getting through that.
I hope you'll be wearing a helmet out there. Yeah. Jeez. You seem like you've got an insatiable appetite for learning. You're impressive. Off the field, you've been impressive with what you've done to further develop yourself educationally, mate.
Yeah, well, that was probably Mum to start with. She said,
she's cracking the whips.
Make sure you're doing something. And she probably thought in my second or third year I'd be out the door pretty soon.
Mate, I lasted 2 days at uni. I got my library card so I could get half price Tuesday nights at the cinemas or whatever it was. But, mate, one of my regrets I didn't go back. But I needed your mum, I needed Kate there cracking the whip. Yeah, well,
I certainly wasn't going to put my hand up to do it. But then as sort of footy kept going on and getting another contract and realised I'd be playing for a bit longer, I just really started to enjoy it, and the business side of sport is something that really interests me as well. So just trying to tick off my MBA at the moment, and hopefully done in the next, by the end of next year, as long as I pass all the stuff. So wait and see.
You haven't got any joy. The professor's not a Giants fan.
No, they don't know their footy up here, so I don't get any love.
Nah, not even hitting you up for tickets, although you'd be able to get plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, and that'd probably help you from a balance point of view, wouldn't it, with your approach to footy, and obviously with the arrival of beautiful little Isla, your daughter, those things all help to, I suppose, bring the enjoyment to footy.
Yeah, they do, and I mean it takes you away from the game. That, you know, you're going to have to if you want to continue and I guess get the work done as well.
Yeah,
so,
and have the longevity in the game.
Yeah, and like a lot of friends that are really successful in business that help you along the way as well, and you get inspired by them, and you I've got to make sure I get my own backyard nice and tidy, so if when the time comes that footy is done, I can hopefully transition well into that world potentially, or whatever it is. I want to give myself the best chance.
Yeah, it's but you strike me as a guy that loves his footy, and certainly while the Giants are good and they look like they'll remain to be good for the next few years, you'll want to continue to play footy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I want to go as long as I can.
Well, I can relate to things coming around pretty quick, the end coming around quick, because I remember driving to my last game against you blokes at the Gabba. I drove in the Hilux, and then about an hour later I was sitting on the bench. I'd been knocked out by Tommy Beck, and I was trying to work out who's going to drive me home.
I do remember that. Yeah.
He just clipped me, Tommy. Yeah. When I saw him in person, I thought, geez, a Mack truck must hit me. I saw Tommy in person, I wasn't that impressed.
No, he's not the biggest fella.
Yeah. How's it going? How's it being a father?
Nah, loving it. It was certainly hard work, and the mums cop it a lot harder than the
do a good job
the
though.
Boys, I reckon. Especially the boys who are playing footy. It's a lot gets lumped on them there, and we travel a lot as a team as well. So been hard work, but loving it, and I was starting to get a little routine now. So hopefully in the next couple of months she's getting through the night, and George's can get a bit of rest, and I can help out in the off season, mate. I've been pretty useless so far. So.
October babies. That's my one piece of advice to you. My first two while I was playing. Yeah. Born in October. Give them a few months to adjust before the whips are cracking in footy season.
We've said the same thing, mate. Our next one, we're trying in January, so that 9 months is about October.
Yeah, on the calendar.
Yeah.
I talk about conversation in cars. Well, I have the good convos with my kids, or whether they're actually getting any goss out of them is on the way to school.
Yeah.
Have a good old chat to them. But for you at the moment, mate, in terms of cars with little Isla, the hardest thing is getting the car capsule in.
Yeah.
You'll have your hands full, especially in a Hilux, mate.
I don't try, mate. I just go to the pros and say, here's $50. Can you whack this in?
Yeah.
I'm hopeless with that stuff. IKEA, anything like that.
No good at it?
Oh, I'm horrendous.
Mate, it used to look funny when I turn up to the Gabba with the Hilux and the baby capsules in the back.
Yeah,
a baby capsule on one side, a baby seat on the other side.
We got that. Yeah, we got it in there, but it wasn't my handiwork. We'll go on a big road trip back to Melbourne, I reckon, in the off season. So Hilux gets a good run then, and chuck everything in the tray. It's handy.
What about Georgia? Any feedback? She give you any feedback on the way home from the footy after? You mightn't have had your best game or had a blinder.
Not after either of them. It's more if I get fined.
Which has happened a bit.
She's like, you tell me. Yeah, it's happened a lot. So she's not thrilled these days when you get $5,000 for a tummy tap. So I've got to put that away. She's more disappointed in that stuff than she couldn't care if I get a kick or not. She does tell me to kick straight sometimes, but that's about it.
Yeah, my wife Kylie used to say, you're not being a traffic cop. You look like, when you're playing good footy, you're pointing like a traffic cop. I said, anything about me actual footy ability? She goes, no, I don't care about that. Any advice to, what's his name, Zach Butters? Because I think Zach Butters has overtaken you for the most fine player in history.
And he's young, he's 23.
He's got a bit of time.
My only advice is he's going to get tagged a lot more in his career, so I certainly I know how he feels sometimes when you got a bloke hanging off you, and you might get a bit frustrated, but he's got to get used to it now because he's one of the best players in the competition, and they're going to put a bit of work into him, so he's just got to find ways to get through that and handle it, and I think everyone loves watching him play.
Yeah.
So hopefully...
he plays a bit similar to you, mate.
He's he's a bloody good player, and I know we went after him as well. So he's just got to rein it in a little bit.
There's a bit of advice for you, Zach, from the great man. You had a bit of swagger about his young fellas, but you needed that swagger to survive.
Yeah.
In the competition, because it was boys playing against men, wasn't it, when you first started?
Oh yeah, our first 2 years were, right them off. We weren't going to win many games, and 18, 19-year-olds, but it was good fun, and we probably carried on a bit more than what we should have. So we was down
the Palacho with Lambos and the boys.
When the cross was roaring. But it was awesome times. I guess it's what kept the club together as well a little bit. The boys being really so close off the field, and we were getting better, but it was going to take time. We understood that and realised that it wouldn't be to our 4th or 5th year that we'd be really competitive. So I think the club did a really good job to keep everyone together, and lose a few along the way, but you'd say we've had a decent team for quite a while now, and been able to compete, which is all part of it.
Yeah, and along with the Swans, you're really pioneers of the sport up here in New South Wales.
Oh yeah, we like seeing that from when we started. Our first year, we'd drive out to Western Sydney and go to the schools, and the only person they'd know is Israel Folau. It wasn't because he played AFL. So that's certainly changed in my time in footy in Sydney and Western Sydney especially. So I've seen it change massively, mate, and it's been hopefully we can continue to grow it.
Well, just finishing up, you've taken me for a lovely tour, or I've taken you for a lovely tour, and you've been guiding me beautifully around the eastern suburbs of Sydney. Big waves today.
Huge swell today, mate. It was 3 to 4 metres, I think. So. It would have been scary out there.
Well, there you go, Kingers. I've delivered him home safely without him wanting to go for a surf. So, good on you. All the best for the rest of the 2024 season.
Thanks, Brown.
Hopefully, you're holding the Premiership Cup aloft as Premiership captain. Good on you, mate.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.